Day. For the very latest, you're going to want to keep it here. My friend Eric Fisher's coming up next. Also, Stephanie Abrams with the very latest on the severe weather possibility for the day today.
Our local Doppler radar. Today, plenty of sunshine, warm, high 84, winds southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy skies, low 62. On Sunday, partly cloudy skies with gusty winds, high 75. Our week ahead.
Well, another deadly tornado outbreak near Oklahoma City. This morning, 5 people are dead as several tornadoes touched down, and we'll have more severe weather in the day ahead.
Hold on, brothers. Hold on.
Our own Mike Bettes and his crew hit by a tornado while covering the storm. This morning, an update on their conditions right now on Weekend View.
Welcome to Weekend View this Saturday morning, the 1st of June. I'm Eric Fisher here in Atlanta.
I'm Stephanie Abrams live in New York. We're monitoring more severe weather, but we want to start with something as absolutely stunning. Here's a look at Mike Bettes' car. There it is in the field when it got tossed by the tornado. You can see the roof smashed in. The crew, including Mike Bettes, were able to walk away with some broken bones and some stitches. Truly chilling to watch, Eric.
It really was here. You know, obviously Mike is a part of our family. He's never been the guy who wants to be right in a tornado, usually in a safe spot, doing it in the name of learning and science. And to see this happen was certainly tough for all of us here at the Weather Channel, Steph.
We're going to explain why this happened, because Mike knows his stuff. So we're going to explain why exactly this happened coming up in the show, because there is an explanation. Here's what we know about the tornadoes right now. 5 people are dead, including a mother and her baby killed near Union City. They were just some of the many caught on the interstates. Both 35 and 40 were jammed. 50 people are hurt, 5 of them critically. More on this in just a minute, but first, Eric is tracking where we have the severe weather right now. Fish.
Yeah, there's a lot to watch as we head through the course of the day today. We're not done with the severe weather yet. Today is a lower tornado threat, but it's a higher flooding threat. We're already seeing that this morning. Storms are still all around Oklahoma City, and we've seen tremendous amounts of rainfall and a lot of lightning out there. Most of this cluster has moved south and east of downtown, south and east of Shawnee, but we've got lightning strikes on the order of 2,500 in the past 15 minutes. So you've basically got these big old thunderstorms, lots of ice crystals and hailstones that are up inside those storms, and that's building up the charge. So tons of lightning, lots of thunder this morning. Flash flooding continuing in around Oklahoma City. Basically anywhere near this cluster, you're talking over a ½ foot of rainfall total, and so that will lead certainly to flash flooding on the streets and low-lying areas. Also, severe thunderstorm warnings are on some of these cells. Pittsburgh County until 6:30. That includes the town of Crowder. So this is a storm that's racing off to the south and east. We're moving toward Richville by 6:08. It's got hail along with it, likely about an inch or larger in diameter, and those strong gusty winds. We haven't seen a lot of warnings. There are still some very vigorous cells that are out there on the map. Move a little farther to the east over toward Arkansas. Now we've got some severe weather that's just west of Little Rock. So this particular storm moving to the east-northeast toward I-40, Perry, Pope, and Yell counties until 6:30. You've got a warning for you. This will be moving its way over toward Wilson by 6:08 and St. Vincent by 6:16. So again, the same idea, potential for some large hail and damaging wind gusts. We move farther to the east in a line that is very slowly sagging off toward the south. This is creating tremendous amounts of rainfall, over 4 inches of rain already in Paducah. So flash flooding, more than damaging thunderstorms or tornadoes, the main threat with that particular area. We'll see more storms firing today. Dallas up toward Little Rock, the Mid-South, Memphis over toward Nashville, and across Kentucky. Tomorrow it finally starts to move a little bit. So here across Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, you will finally dry out, which is much needed at this point. And in terms of a tornado threat today, we've got a 4 out of 10 for west central Tennessee and Kentucky. Kentucky, and then farther north and east up toward the Ohio Valley. Now, we also want to talk about, of course, what occurred yesterday. Carl Parker, our storm specialist, is here. Carl, can you take us through a little bit of what happened? This is a conversation we're going to have all morning.
Yeah, I certainly can. And, you know, one thing that we're going to be talking about this morning is this idea of driving away from a tornado when it's coming to you. We were wondering if it wasn't a bad idea after the Moore storm, because a lot of the local Mets were saying that, and apparently there were people who drove out of the way and were saved. But there were a lot of people on the roads last night in Oklahoma City, and we're going to address this through the course of the morning. I'm wondering if this can lead to traffic tie-ups, and I think perhaps that was the case. We heard about the roads being snarled last night at 7 p.m., and as you know, on a Friday night, usually the rush hour has cleared by 7 p.m. And there's a look at that tornado as it was coming down in El Reno. This is a multiple vortex or multi-vortex tornado, and you can see that there are several little funnels rotating about one another. Even though you can't see the funnel going all the way to the ground in all cases, that's because the air was a little bit dry coming around the back side of the storm, but there is most definitely multiple circulations there on the ground. So that's an extremely dangerous tornado, even though you don't see a lot of interface with the ground, but you can see at various times there those multiple vortices kind of rotating about one another. And I can show you what happened on the radar picture here. Here you see this very well-defined hook echo, the radar reflectivity showing you where that tornado was west of town, I should say. And this is an HP supercell. That's a high precipitation supercell. That often happens when you've got a lower wind environment, when you don't have really strong shear. So a tremendous amount of heavy rain. And then as the cell continued along I-40 and towards Oklahoma City, we saw the multiple hook echoes and rotations right in here and then right in here and then one in the tail end of the storm. And in a lot of cases, because there was so much rain associated with that cell, they were wrapped in rain and very difficult to see. So another terrible night there in Oklahoma City, but at least the weather is now moving out. We're going to talk more about the severe threat coming up, guys.
All right, Carl, thank you. Now to the flooding story, which is a huge concern this morning. Take a look at this video from Oklahoma City. Part of the city literally underwater. Over half a foot of rain has fallen, making this the wettest May in Oklahoma City history. We're also watching sections of Arkansas and Missouri where one person died after trying to cross a low water bridge. So let's talk about this flash flooding and where we are seeing it and where we have to deal with it. Now, flash flooding is a kind that just happens really quick. So we have widespread flash flooding, not only through the plains, but also stretching into the Midwest. Anywhere that you see the green shading on the map, this is where we have flood watches. That means that we could see flooding. The conditions are favorable for flooding. But if you were under a flood watch, that means it's imminent or it's occurring. And here are, a flood warning. And here's where we have all the flood warnings. So right now, flooding is imminent or it's occurring because we have had so much rain. Now, we are going to continue to see the showers here. This is a 600-mile stretch of real estate that is seeing the threat of some flooding. And the system is moving so slowly because we have a high pressure blocking it off to our east. And so it's just dumping rain over the same areas over and over again. Look over the last 2 days. This is our estimate from the radar. Over 9 inches into southeastern portions of Kansas. That is an incredible amount of rain to get in just a matter of 2 days. Over towards the Illinois area, we've had over 4.5 inches of rain here. And again, we are going to see more of it as we head over the next couple of days. Multiple storm reports of flooding here. Anywhere that you do see those homes, significant flooding with most streets and roads underwater in Henrietta in Oklahoma. Eric.
Well, that's not the only kind of flooding that we're following for you right now. Water's rising on the Mississippi River and throughout the basin, and it will get worse in the days ahead. We'll talk about the forecast. And meteorologist Mike Bettes, in his own words, he recalls getting caught in a tornado and how he says they managed to make it out of this alive. It's all coming up after your local weather on the 8s.
Hold on.